We have some questions submitted. We'll take up those questions and definitely we'll cover one or two verses today.
Question from Shashi Makhija. How come knowledge of Vedanta is the ultimate knowledge?
Usually the questioners don't come because they consider sending the question as the donation. We are donating a question so that others gain knowledge. Shashi is not that, right? 100% right. My guru has trained me well. Questioners never come because the question is always to clear others' ignorance. Teach these Mudatmas what is Vedanta, why it has to be highest. What about you? I don't need all that. That person is sitting there, I'm finished. Shashi, anyway. So Shashi's question is, how come knowledge of Vedanta is the ultimate knowledge? How will you answer? You're all students. In Kunal, you claim that 10 years you are students. Shashi is challenging. On what basis are you saying Vedanta is the highest knowledge? Why not physics? Why not medical science? Without medical science, you won't be alive. You won't have exited your mother's womb properly. How can you say Vedanta is highest? This is Shashi's question. In a very soft tone. Yes?
Vedanta is the lessons of life and living, and they help us to reach the ultimate self that is within us, but we don't know that.
Fantastic. That's the answer. But the questioner is asking, how come knowledge of Vedanta is ultimate knowledge? My return question to the questioner would be, what do you understand by Vedanta? Because you are using the word Vedanta. How come Vedanta is the highest knowledge? What is your idea of Vedanta? What is your understanding of Vedanta? Without having any idea about it, no, I don't even know the basics of it. I know nothing about Vedanta. Then the question should be, what is Vedanta? If you understand what is Vedanta, it is for you to decide whether it is of highest priority in your life or zero priority in your life. But then why is Vedanta called as the ultimate knowledge, the highest knowledge? The Sanskrit word Vedanta is derived from two Sanskrit terms. Veda, Anta. That is why Sanskrit has been acknowledged as a machine-friendly language, computer-friendly, because it's very mathematical. If you know the etymology of the word, you know what it reveals. The words reveal. So the word Vedanta is constituted of two Sanskrit words, Veda and Anta. Veda means knowledge. Anta in Sanskrit means end. Anta also means culmination, highest. So the word Vedanta means the culmination of knowledge, the highest knowledge, or the end of knowledge. Why it is called as end of knowledge is, you all know the four Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Atharvana Veda, four Vedas. In modern terms, Vedas could be equated to the encyclopedia that you have. Not really. Encyclopedia means book of everything, right? Similarly, Vedas contained all knowledges. It is not the right understanding that Vedas contain only spiritual stuff. Vedas contain all knowledges. Vedas contain atomic research. In the same Vedas there is music. Sama Veda is the source of all the music. Vedic mathematics we talk about. Vedic astronomy, astrology, all the subjects. And then the Vedas talk about declarations on reality. Who are you? What is this Atma, the self, is declared. So the highest component of the contents in Vedas is in the Upanishads. The text is called as Upanishad, which gives you the Atma Vidya. Atma Vidya means knowledge of yourself. Since there cannot be anything higher than the knowledge of the self, Vedanta is called as the culmination of knowledge. You understand? Also, the highest priority is given to the knowledge of self, to knowledge of life and living, which is available in the Vedas. So, end of Vedas, and the highest thing that you can learn from Vedas is the knowledge of the self. knowledge of life and living in a relative sense. That is why Vedanta is called as the highest knowledge. What is Vedanta dealing with? Many people believe any book written in Sanskrit is a scripture. What is Vedanta dealing with? Vedanta is dealing with three aspects pertaining to life. The first is nature and composition of a human being. This is what Vedanta deals with. Jigar, more you understand, you will be able to reply anyone who needs it. The first aspect is nature and composition. Human nature and human composition it deals with. What is composition? Composition means the hardware. Body, mind and intellect is your composition. Another way of looking at your own composition is the 5 sheaths, pancha koshas. Food sheath, which is the body. Vital air sheath, which is the pranas, which is what you try to maintain through pranayama, through breathing. Vital air sheath. And then mind sheath, feelings, desires, emotions. And then the 4th layer is intellectual sheath, your thoughts, the thinker in you. And the 5th sheath is bliss sheath, which you experience in the deep sleep state. So every human being is made up of these 5 sheaths, or the 3 equipments, body, mind and intellect. This is your hardware, which can be seen. The body can be seen. Though all of us have physical body, mind and intellect, no two people, even twins, identical twins born in the same family are not the same. Because the gunas, inner nature is different. What is this inner nature? It has been classified as sattva, rajas, tamas. 3 Sanskrit words again. Sattva means light. Light, not this light. Light relating to the intellect, clarity. Rajas means passion, but unable to control it. How many of you have pet dog at home? Dog? No one? Next retreat you will send. You have, what dog you have? Labby.
Sheepperoo, that's what we call it.
Labrador, you know, right? Labby. Rajas means labby. You open the door, it doesn't matter whether it is friend or enemy. What does the Labrador do? Pounces and starts licking you all over. So enormous passion, but no control at all. Right, Kiran? This is the state of Rajas. Tamas is the state of sleep. Lethargy is the state of tamas. So 3 gunas. Every human being is a permutation combination of these 3 gunas. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Without knowing what we are constituted of, we are relating to the world and living life. You understand? It's exactly like you don't even know your gender and you're living your life for 35, 40 years. Today you may say we don't even need to know our gender. I'm not talking about what is happening today, but generally, it's as absurd as you don't know your gender and we are going on living our life. So the internal gunas are sattva, rajas and tamas. Human composition and nature is the first aspect. The second is, I'm not explaining, I'm just mentioning. Sashi, is it? Questioner, Sashi. You can do wellness Vedanta. The new people can do wellness Vedanta. Payal will speak about it later, which will give you the basics of Vedanta. But we are already in 5th chapter. You will get a taste of that as well. The second aspect is nature of world and how to relate to the world. This is what Vedanta deals with. The nature of world. What is the nature of world? 401 traffic, the 2, because of rain, there's so much of traffic, there's collision. That is why I am late. How many years you are living in this country? If you bought a Rajinikanth movie ticket, will you go late? Salman Khan movie ticket? If you have booked a table in Guru Lakshmi, will you go late? Why then you have to go late for a Vedanta class to a church or a temple or a mosque? You understand? So the second aspect of Vedanta is, what is the nature of world? What is the nature of Sunday, that too approaching spring in Toronto, especially when it rains? More so when you have to go to Vedanta class. How your mind cooperates, you assess all that. If you have to be here at 4:30, you plan for 3:30. This is what Vedanta is saying. Nature of world and how to relate with it. What is the nature of world? I'll give you just 3 words. First is dvandvas. Dvandvas means opposites. Light and dark, tall and short, sweet and sour, day and night, knowledge and ignorance, profit and loss, heat and cold, joy and sorrow, acceptance, rejection. These are the opposites. World means pairs and pairs of opposites. But the mind in us wants only one aspect. It wants the mother-in-law to be like
Mother.
mother. That is the problem. It wants the mother-in-law to be like mother. But when you go home, it doesn't want the mother to be like mother. The mind wants, when you go to Costco sometimes, when you go to these places, 3 t-shirts for $25. Don't ask me where it is. I'm just giving we missed it. Come on, let's go. 3 t-shirts for $25. But the problem is there's one pink, one black and one white. If you ask them, will you give me 3 white t-shirts for $25? No. Each t-shirt is $15, $45. You won't get 3 white t-shirts for $25. You'll always get a white, get a dark and then a pink. But the mind wants $25 cost label and then 3 white t-shirts or 3 black t-shirts or 3 pink t-shirts, whatever be the color that you want. So dvandvas, opposites. The world means opposites. The second is samsara. The Sanskrit word samsara means that which is constantly changing. It is not the world, it's even the people who are changing constantly. But the mind wants everything to remain static. You are not the same person that I met in the university. You have changed. We want people to remain same. Why? Because we don't know how to deal with people. The nature of animals is fixed. That is why people are very, very friendly with animals. It is so easy to relate with animals because the nature doesn't change every day. A dog doesn't become a cat. A tiger doesn't become a leopard or an elephant. Their nature is fixed. So it is very easy to deal with animals and live with animals. But very complex to deal with human beings and live with human beings because they change, our mind is also changing. Constantly changing. So there are 2 variable factors that are interacting with each other constantly, trying to gain happiness from it. You need to know how to deal with it, or else we can't gain that happiness. So the second aspect is samsara, means constant changing. The third aspect of world is nama rupa. Nama rupa means name and form. Everything is name and form. This is kurta. This is dhoti. This is a sheet, a white sheet. That's a jacket. This is a shirt. All this is nama rupa, name and form. Essence is cotton. Whatever be the material. Cotton is the essence. So the whole world is nothing but divisions and demarcations. Nama rupa. I am a Hindu. He is a Muslim. She is a Christian. That person is a theist. This person is a atheist. Nama rupa. The life principle in all is the same. So third aspect of world is nama rupa. How to relate with the world? Every human being has 2 equipments, mind and intellect. If you leave the governance of your life to mind is full of expectations. Mind expects. My mind will expect that all of you should be here by 4:30. Not understanding what all challenges you may be having. You understand? It is a good discipline on your part, but my mind would expect. Your mind would expect that the class should conclude on time. You understand? That I won't respect. I'll respect. So each and every one of us are having bundle of expectations upon the other. I'll get annoyed that you didn't come on time. So what if I didn't come on time? You should have finished on time. You get annoyed if I don't finish on time. And then we say, this audience is no good, useless fellows. And you'll say, this teacher is no good, useless fellow. This is what is happening in life. What is happening is, we are all the time functioning based on expectations and ask the other person to fit into it. It's like you bring a bottle. You don't ask what can go into the bottle. You have decided you want to go home with an elephant. What is that you brought? You brought a shopping bag. Forget a bottle, even a shopping bag, you can't take an elephant home. Idol of an elephant you can take home. So this is what Vedanta points out. The mind is full of expectations. It is your intellect that can make an assessment. The intellect can make an assessment. Intellect can make a forecast, just as you do at work. You don't expect your business to get you profits. You do an analysis, you do a forecast. According to that, you plan yourself, you prepare yourself, you anticipate what are all the challenges during this year. And then you are ready for it. In this way, a person is trained to live life with this knowledge. You understand? So nature of world and how to maintain the right relationship with the world. Second. Third is the reality beyond the individual and the world. Three things Vedanta deals with. First is nature and composition of a human being. What are you composed of? Physical body. How does this physical body function? Not from a medical perspective, from a philosophical perspective. The body cannot function on its own. It functions because of the mind or the intellect propelling. You understand? I want to find out what Vedanta is. Could this be of any relevance to my life? Intellect has brought you here. And then your partner says, what will I do sitting alone in the house? Okay, 1 hour, no, I'll come with you. Mind has brought that person here. You understand? So, of those who are here, either the mind has to bring you here, or the intellect has to bring you here, or the combination of both. It can be combination of both. So how exactly this personality, this individuality is functioning? Nature and composition of human being. The second is, what is the nature of world and how should you relate with the world? Or else constantly we will be grumbling about the world. Any counselor, any psychologist you ask, all the complaints that subjects the people would have will always relate to someone else or something else. The person would never walk into a counselor's room and say, I am stressed, I don't know what is happening to me. You understand? Then the counselor would say, same thing happening to me also. Only difference is I am giving advices. With the same condition, I am also giving advices to others. No one would go to the counselor and say, I am stressed. What is happening to me? I am stressed, you say. The counselor says, that is obvious, or else why will you come here? What is the reason for your stress? Is it because of your marriage? Is it because of your children? Is it because of your business? Is it because? All this because points out to something in the world. Vedanta dismisses and says, it is not the world that disturbs you, it is how you relate to the world. You Indians, you keep your Vedanta in India, don't bring to Canada. Our Western culture does not accept this. Okay. John Milton is not a South Indian Iyengar. John Milton, you heard? Huh? Which IPL team is playing? Balaji. John Milton, the poet philosopher, 1600s. John Milton says, your mind in its place and in itself can make a heaven out of hell, can make hell out of heaven. It's not Vedanta saying, it's a Western philosopher saying. You understand? Your mind in its own place can make heaven out of hell and hell out of heaven. It is your own mind. There is no such place called heaven in the world. There is no such place called hell. It all depends upon your own mind. Gary is here? Gary sold his business at the right. Sorry, Gary, I'm giving personal examples, but I won't cross the line. Sold his business just a year or two before COVID. People said, what are you going to do? Why are you selling your business? Such a lucrative business. You built it from scratch. You're doing so well. People love you in this field. Why are you selling it? Why are you selling it? Why are you selling it? He might have gone through some fluctuation here and there. Should I sell or should I not sell? 1.5, 2 years later, COVID, complete shutdown. What happens now? Thank God I sold it. It is not the business that gives you joy or sorrow. It is the mind which is relating to it. You understand? 35 years of running the business. One day stress, another day no stress. Pleasure or happiness. Stress, happiness. Stress, happiness. You got a business deal, happiness. There's a challenge in it, there is stress. Mixed reaction. And then you sell the business and the person who buys from you says, you have to work for 2 years as my consultant. You can't go out. You ensure that the transition is smooth. You're working there as an employee. What stress you have now? You understand? You are living in a rented house. And then the person wants to sell that house. You buy the house. What is your attitude when you are renting the house? Same house, you bought it now. What is your attitude? You understand what I'm asking? 10 years you've been living in that house as a tenant. Now the same house you have bought, it has become yours. What happens to you? Because the house has not changed. It is not the paper ownership that is bringing all the difference. It is how your mind is perceiving it. It is how your mind is perceiving it. End of the road, there is a young girl who walks all the time, every day, very disciplined. And your mother says, very nice girl, I am going for a walk with her. 1 month every day. Your mother at the end of the street, the girl walking. Raghu, don't smile. Huh? Our fate is sealed, you and me. Agam can smile. Som also fate is sealed. Advait can smile. So suddenly mom comes and says, very nice girl, why don't you marry her? The moment you married to that girl, the girl is the same, the walk is the same, but something happens in the mind of the mother and in the girl. You understand? Mom, you only suggested me that I meet her. We met. I liked her, she liked me, we got married. Now you are full of complaints. What is the complaint? As soon as she gets up, she goes for a walk, she doesn't even make coffee. This is what you loved in her. Last month you said as soon as she gets up, she doesn't even drink coffee, she goes for a walk. Very nice girl. Now you're saying, you're pointing out the same reason and saying that she is not a nice girl. What has changed is the mind. So the second aspect is how we use this equipment called mind or intellect to make a difference in our life. The third most important is the reality beyond the individual and the world. This is the essence of Vedanta. The first two are just glorified common sense. Nature and composition of human being, nature of world, how to relate to, are all kindergarten stuff in Vedanta. We should not be even spending so much time on it. But unfortunately, these are the areas of our challenges. The third aspect is the reality beyond the individual and the world. Two aspects that you should learn from Vedanta is what is this entity called law of karma? How does this world function? What decided that I should be born with a particular gender in a particular family to a particular set of parents with a nationality? What decided that I should be tall or short? What decided that who decided my parents? When these questions bother a person, you have come to the C section, part C. Part C of Vedanta, what does it deal with? The law of karma and then this word called God. So the scope and objective of Vedanta is you, world, God. You understand? What is Vedanta dealing with? It is dealing with you, the individual. It is dealing with the world that we have to relate to in order to live our life. And then only a human being can aspire to evolve spiritually. This word God is so constantly used in each and every one of our life, but it is an empty word. It is full of conditioning. Conditioning. It is full of conditioning. It is full of assumptions. It is full of stories. We have never inquired upon that word. There has been no education upon it. There has only been talk and talk. There has only been conditioning and conditioning. Practices and practices. It's an empty word. It is full of conditioning, yet it is an empty word because no one knows what that entity is. We don't even know whether something exists known as God. So the highest aspect of Vedanta is an inquiry on the reality. Vedanta uses the word reality, not the word God. Because God means, you'll say, which God? First let us define that. Finished. Ganesha or Father in Heaven or Christ or Allah. Vedanta class will become a Iran-Israel conflict. No, leave the word God. Vedanta uses the word reality. There is a reality that pervades and percolates every aspect of life in every human being. It doesn't matter what your nationality is, what your faith is, what your denomination is. You can't escape from that reality. What is that reality? Only a human intellect can aspire for that reality. So three aspects that Vedanta talks about: nature and composition of a human being, nature of world and how to relate to it. The third is reality. What is this reality? What is this entity called God? Sashi, questioner. Very grateful she donated a question. Because again and again you go through those basics, you know what you are dealing with. We can study. But what are we studying? We are studying about your personality, your individuality. You are studying about how to maintain the right relationship with the world. You are studying about the highest aspiration, which is evolution. There is no subject that gives you all three in a package. There are subjects that is dealing with human personality. There are subjects that are dealing with the world. There are subjects that are talking about God, poems, literatures about entity called God. But there is no subject which is in an educational way, in academic sense, delivering all the three together. Therefore, this knowledge is called as Veda Antam. Veda Antam, Vedanta means the highest knowledge that can be fed to your intellect, the highest knowledge that your intellect can aspire. Okay, beautiful all this is, but will it get me a job? Will it help me pay my mortgage? Will it help me get my citizenship? When will I get my citizenship? So how will it address my mundane aspirations? Vedanta addresses the 4 aspirations of life. They are called as Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha in Sanskrit. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Wherever you see highlighted in red, it is a Sanskrit word, and then the meaning is written here. So what is Vedanta dealing with? It is dealing with 4 aspirations of life, 4 human aspirations. You may say, I don't want God, I don't want evolution. You keep it. I am only interested in multiplying my business. Okay, you are dealing with Artha, prosperity. You understand? There's one aspect of life that you are dealing with. What is this Dharma? Dharma means the knowledge of life and living, which is what we covered previously. So with Dharma, you proceed towards Artha, prosperity, or else that prosperity will not give you pleasure, peace, which is what is happening in life. I have everything, but something is missing, something is missing, something is missing. I am not settled inside. It's not a personal example, I'm just making a statement, that's all. I have everything, but something, I don't get sleep. 45 minutes, 1 hour, beyond that I don't get sleep. I tried medication, it worked for 1 month. Then my friend suggested LCBO, I tried it, it worked for 2 months. Nothing works after a while, but one thing works for sure. What is it? Your Vedanta class. The moment I come, 60 minutes snoring, sleeping. I don't even know what is happening. Until Kunal comes and announces, I am fast asleep with the eyes open. That is why people come. So restful. I am also trying to modulate, raise my voice, lower my voice to keep you awake. It's not easy. In spite of that, there are 3-4 who are in their own loka. Which loka they are, they only know. So Dharma means the knowledge of life and living. We do not have knowledge of life and living with which we have got Artha. What we have is a particular Siksha. Siksha means scholastic information. It could be engineering, it could be medical science, it could be mathematics, it could be business management, it could be literature, it could be any aspect that is taught in an academic institution that helps a person get a job, run a business. But how exactly to handle karma, pleasures, enjoyment, happiness, this pursuit called happiness in life. So Dharma, Artha means prosperity, Dharma means your orientation in life or your oriented person. Disorientation is what medical science talks about as lifestyle maladies, lifestyle maladies, lifestyle maladies. What is this lifestyle maladies? A meat eater is trying to become a vegetarian, vegetarian is trying to become a vegan. I'm downsizing my house and going into an apartment. These are not lifestyle changes. Lifestyle changes means, are you living based on the demands of your mind or direction of your intellect? One change only you have to make, Kiran. You means any one of us, including me. Lifestyle changes. If you ask the number of people here, you will get hundreds of lifestyle changes that you have to implement. And within that list of 100, 20 items will be contradicting with 40 other items. You understand? That's what we end up with. So lifestyle change, the only change that anyone has to consider is to examine, am I living my life based on mind or intellect? Manas or buddhi? This is the only lifestyle change. So when that type of knowledge is there in a person, your engagement in artha, in earning prosperity from the world, will be led by the intellect. It will not be led by the cravings of the mind. So dharma, artha, kama, What is that dharma? Dharma means intellectual orientation. Artha, prosperity. Kama, pleasures. How to enjoy happiness in life. How to enjoy life. Fourth is moksha, liberation. So Vedanta is not for recluse people who are interested in going to Himalayas, getting stuck inside the caves. The place from where this knowledge sprung was one of the most prosperous nations or cultures in the world. That is why you find invasions after invasions. Understand? Invasions after invasions for thousands of years. Still that culture or that nation stands means how much prosperity should be there, how much resilience should be there in the culture to bring back everything. That culture cannot be against prosperity. It is for prosperity, but as one aspect of life, one aspiration of life. So dharma, artha, kama, moksha. If you come to Hanson's College and say, I want self-realization, they will say, very nice, but we don't have any course on it. We can't give you self, even I am interested in it, but we can't give you that. We'll give you various other knowledges. So Vedanta gives you a direction in all four aspects, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So what is this Vedanta? Vedanta is the philosophical content or the knowledge component from which all religions have come. Third point. First point is Veda plus Anta. Second point is scope of Vedanta. It deals about you, world, God, and the four aspirations. Now, third point, Vedanta is not Hinduism. Most important to know is, okay, you will speak all this about Vedanta because you are a born Hindu. Vedanta has got nothing to do with Hinduism. Neither is water having any religious denomination, nor the Pepsi or Coke that came from the Christian world. You understand? Coke or Pepsi came from the West. So can you say Coke and Pepsi are Christian drinks? It is as absurd as saying that. You understand? So what is Vedanta? Every religion has two aspects. One is the ritual aspect. The other is the philosophical aspect. Every religion has. You go to Islam, there is a ritual aspect, there is a philosophical aspect. You go to Christianity, there is a ritual, there is a philosophy. You go to Buddhism, there is a ritual, there is philosophy. You go to Hinduism, there is ritual, there is philosophy. Judaism, there is ritual, there is philosophy. The conflict between two religions is because of rituals and practices, never on philosophy. You understand? You may ask them why there is so much conflict, because no one is dealing with philosophy. I would say, unless you light an oil lamp in a temple, there is no way you are a religious person. Why? Because I am born in that particular faith. You would say, unless you light a candle in a church, you are not serving God. You understand? This is the fight. I am a temple goer, you are a church goer. I light an oil lamp, you light a candle, and we both are fighting with each other. Vedanta says, forget these rituals. Both the oil lamp and the candle in the church are only talking about knowledge. Bring knowledge and radiance into your life. Enlighten yourself with knowledge and radiance. This is the significance of the ritual. You left the significance and meaning of the ritual and you are stuck with the process, the mechanical process of the ritual. Two aspects in every religion. So the rituals are called as samskaras in Sanskrit. In fact, the word ritual, it is the British that gave us. One of the things we should have not taken is this word. Samskara. Samskara is a Sanskrit word. Samskara means that which elevates you to a higher level of awareness. This is samskara. If you tell your children ritual you do, Maulika, touch Guru's feet, she will not, because it's a ritual. You understand? What is the significance of it? Why should we touch the feet of a Guru? None of us know. That will take 2 hours. I'm not going into that. So samskara means rituals, custom, tradition, the values that you are raised with. It has to be very, very specific. You understand? It is very specific to a particular religion. You cannot compare with another person and then get into a conflict. If you compare, there will only be a conflict. The left side of it, samskaras and upasana, are supposed to be very religion specific. You can't say Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism are all same. You can't say with reference to the left side. They are not same. Because rituals are different. It is wrong to say all religions are same. But it is also right to say all religions are same when you consider the philosophy. So one aspect is the ritual, which deals with rituals, custom, tradition, values, samskaras. Upasana means worship. Upasana means prayer. So you go to a church, when they are praying, they kneel down. You understand? When you pray in a temple, you don't kneel down. It's a practice. Whether you kneel down or you don't kneel down is not a problem. There are certain faiths where you remove the cap and enter the temple. In fact, we remove the cap, hat and enter the temple. When you go to a Gurudwara, what do? You cover your head and go to the Gurudwara. You understand? Is that right or is this right? That is right there, this is right here. It is bound to be different from each other. What is the philosophy behind it? The philosophy behind it is the same. The temple goer is told, I am president, I am prime minister, I am director, I am a businessman, I am an architect, I am a singer, I am a mathematician. Leave this ego outside and go to God. This is what one religion says. Another religion says, wear your hat and go inside. What is it saying? Wear your intellect and go inside. Wear your subtle intellect and go inside. Cover your ego and go inside to God. The philosophy is exactly the same. So when you go to the left side of it, there is difference between religion. The other side of it is jnanam. Jnanam means the knowledge of life and living. Philosophy. The revelations that are declared in the Upanishad. So every religion has these two tiers. Two-type process. One is the ritual component, which is what is passed on from one generation to the other. And when you pass on to your children, you don't know why you're doing it. That is why they are not taking it. You made the blunder of bringing them here. They will ask questions. The problem is parents want children to be Michael Jackson outside the house, Adi Shankaracharya inside the house, Buddha inside the house. That will not happen. When he goes out, he has to be Michael Jackson. When he comes in, he has to be a Shankaracharya. Outside, he has to be Julia Roberts. Inside, she has to be a Mirabai. Leave some role for others also. It will not happen. They will question. But unfortunately, we have not gone through the process of education to answer it. So, if you give them knowledge, there will be no quarrel. Why is that at least 3-4 children tolerate sitting in a Vedanta class? Nidhi, others are not there. 5-6 others are there. Why is that they tolerate coming? Because the ritual portion is literally zero here. It's not zero. Literally it is zero. We don't deal with that. What we are dealing with is knowledge. So they can ask questions, they can understand, they can apply it in their life, they can make sense out of it. It concurs with their education process. So the rituals and custom is called as matam. Matam means religion. Knowledge is called as sanatana dharma, is Vedanta. Now you decide whether Vedanta should be translated as ultimate knowledge or what type of knowledge. You understand? This is what Vedanta is.